Let's recap minicamp and talk about the risers, surprisers, risers, fallers. We're going to dive all into that. Also, now that minicamp is over, we begin to look ahead at the upcoming season as we move into the latter part of the off season. All of that and more coming up next. You know why you're here. Let's talk Ravens with Yolanda. Let's go. A healthy balance at every position. If they brought in Derrick Henry, because the Ravens aren't serious. Eric DeCosta's make or break season, off season. Good evening, Ravens flock. Good evening, family. Welcome into another edition of Ravens Talk with Yolanda. I hope you all are doing well. For all of the fathers out there, I hope you had a fantastic Father's Day weekend. Thank you so much for all that you do for your children. And just hope everybody's in good spirits today. We have a really good show tonight, a lot to cover. And I know I'm here for a good time and not a long time, because I know around 8:30 tonight, the NBA Finals. And we're going to see if the Celtics are able to end this series. But, I mean, we'll see if they can do it. I was surprised they didn't win last week. But, I mean, hey, I thought it was going to be a sweep. It was not. But that's not what you're here for. You are here to talk Ravens football, and that's exactly what we are going to do. Before we begin, as customary here, I like to say hello to everyone who has already joined in the chat. So first we have Brandon Bazel. Thank you so much, Brandon, for being here. I hope you're doing just fine. We also have Lady Laura Baltimore. How are you doing tonight? I hope you're doing great too. Well, let's just dive right into tonight's show. As I was putting this show together, I was thinking, okay, what are we going to talk about? Because this is the part of the off season now where we have ended minicamp. Not a whole lot of news, especially in terms of like what we're doing. I mean, it doesn't seem like the Ravens are making many roster moves right now. We're not adding, we're not subtracting really, but we'll see. But as I was putting the show together, I said, okay, what are we going to discuss tonight? Let's first talk about the risers and fallers, or risers and surprisers. But I don't just have risers, fallers. I actually have risers, ? And then the fallers. But let's start with the risers. For me, I think I have to give a huge shout out to our quarterback. He takes so many unnecessary slights against him on a regular. And it's just one of those things where this year I'm hoping and I'm expecting to see him shine, because that's what I want for him. Just out of the sheer amount of disrespect that he takes on a daily basis. So, but for him, minicamp was pretty good. Minicamp was pretty good for him. I'm going to share something on the screen, and we'll dive into what I think about Lamar Jackson's performance. So this is an article from the Baltimore Ravens website, and it said Lamar Jackson had a couple of throws, and this article is from Thursday. He had a couple of standout throws. He made a perfect deep shot down to the tight ends, and perfectly caught despite having coverage from linebacker Malik Harrison. Another laser dime was thrown to Rashad Bateman. Lamar he caught flack because he was not in OTAs. And so one thing I saw here is when they mentioned, Lamar Jackson threw a couple of interceptions. And while I don't like to see that, none of us do, now is the time to get it out. Now is the time to work out all of the issues, the wrinkles, the hurdles. Let's get it done now so that when we move into the regular season, this will be a thing of the past. This will be behind us. And another thing I took away here is that, Roquan Smith, he actually got in one of those interceptions that Lamar threw, one to him in the end zone. Again, not what we want to hear, but I'm thinking, and I intentionally skipped over Bateman. So we have a little piece right in here in the center of the article where it does mention Bateman on Thursday. Let's put a pin in that. We will come right back. We'll come back to it in just a bit. But for me, seeing Lamar Jackson on this list, having an overall really good mini camp, that was encouraging. That was very encouraging. And because we are now going into Todd Monken's second year, I expect this offense to take a gargantuan leap. I want them to take a huge step forward from where they were last year. We had to give them grace. We had to extend leniency, and we had to be very forgiving, right? Because we understood we had a first-year coordinator, and there were going to be hiccups. There were going to be bumps. There were going to be challenges. Hopefully now, going into the second year, Lamar under Todd Monken, they should know the system. Pretty much all of our receivers, with the exception of OBJ, they are back. And so there should not be as steep of a learning curve this year. And for me, what I'm looking for, no slow starts on offense. Let me say that again. No slow starts. That is something that I've seen as a Ravens fan for several years, not just with Todd Monken. We saw it with who before him. Won't name his name, but the previous offensive coordinator. There were many games that we watched, and it looked like our offense was just discombobulated, didn't have it together. So I'm looking to see if that is much improved this year. I want to say hello to Hendo from the Rogue Pod. Good evening. Thank you for joining. And I see that I'm probably going to mispronounce the name, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to try the Hodari Aulu. I hope I said it right. Hi there. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. We also have Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk. If you are not subscribed to Brandon Bozell's channel, the Rogue Pod, Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk, please make sure you go over and subscribe to all of their channels, because you're going to get just a well-rounded, multifaceted content on different topics, and you can just come back here and thank me later. So please do that. Another person who I have on my list as a riser, as we saw a few moments ago on the screen, was Roquan Smith. But I will say, yes, he caught the interception and all of those, accolades that we've seen or heard about him. Okay, Hadari told me it was close enough. Okay, I got to learn how to pronounce your name, because that bothers me. I don't like when I mispronounce people's names, because I know how I am. People call me names and, they don't pronounce my name correctly, and I'm like, no, but I'm going to try. So let me know when I get it right. When I do, say, yes, you got it. But another thing for me with Roquan Smith, the intangibles. When we talk about a leader, when we speak of someone who I look to as the leader of this defense, or one of the principal leaders of the defense, I look at Roquan Smith and I appreciate that. Because for me, the intangibles are what truly define a leader. And is it a question? Can Roquan Smith play? No, absolutely not. It's not a question. Of course he can play. The bonus, the extra, what I really enjoy is watching him off the field, coaching, taking on that mentor role, especially with Trenton Simpson, who we're going to ask a lot from him this year in Patrick Queen's absence. And because Roquan has been really invested in the success of this defense and the success of the team, it's translating. So he's definitely one of my risers for that reason. Oh, I'm preaching good tonight. We also have tonight with us B. James. Good evening. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Glad you're here. Thank you for joining. Now, before we get to fallers, I have one person who is a question mark. And as I mentioned earlier, I said, let's put a pin in the article. Let's go back to it. This was Thursday. So on Thursday, Bateman had a really good day. He was, according to this article, he was very busy hauling in several passes from Lamar Jackson. That's what we want to hear, especially because we know that Bateman is right now our number 2 wide receiver. The Ravens have made it crystal clear that they believe in him. They believe in his ability and his skills to translate into this upcoming season. So looking at this, I want to go to the previous day. So let's back up one day. So on Wednesday, there was an article I saw from Sporting News, and Mike Preston of the Baltimore Sun was quoted here by Scott Davis, who said, according to Mike of the Baltimore Sun, Bateman just didn't look good on day 2 at minicamp, which was Wednesday. According to Preston, Jackson and Bateman lacked timing on several passes. The next thing, the article goes on to say, Preston reported that Bateman looked frustrated when Jackson missed him while he was open, and again later on when he was a part of a clearing route for another receiver. This is where I become a little concerned because of the inconsistency. As you saw on Wednesday, he was struggled. Bateman really had a time, but he followed it up. Here's the good part, though. He followed it up on Thursday with a great performance. So that leads me to the first question that I have for you. Given the inconsistent performance of Bateman and the fact that the Ravens believe him to be wide receiver number 2, does Bateman need to practice in South Florida this offseason with Lamar Jackson? There have been, and I think we touched on it in maybe the last stream or maybe the one before, and it's been left in comments, or people have commented, and people have said, no, he doesn't have to. And certainly he doesn't. And other people say he absolutely should. He needs to. He needs to get out there like all of the, like the other receivers, and go and practice. Where I land with that question, does he need to go and practice with Lamar? I think the answer to that is yes. I would really like to see it, because when we speak about a connection, it's clearly not there consistently. When we make it to these big games, and the next segment, we're going to talk about some of those big games. When we make it to some of these big games, and we have a lot of them, okay? The NFL did not do the Ravens any favors with this schedule, but this is the hand we're dealt. We have to make something out of it. And when we speak about Bateman being our number 2 wide receiver, that inconsistent, he had a good day, had a not so good day, we can't afford to have that. It's fine if we have it now. It's not fine, but we are accepting of it now because it doesn't matter. These games, this is just practice. They're not even in pads yet. So, but when it's time, when the real critical moments come through, we need to be ready. And how do you develop that chemistry? Because they've been playing together for how many years now? I understand Rashad Bateman has been injured, and his injuries have kept him from being able to be available a lot of his career. But, and I think someone left it might have been you, B. James, correct me if I'm wrong, but someone left a comment several weeks ago, way back earlier in the off season. Bateman, he couldn't be the blame for targets not being thrown his way last year. Touche. But now we're not going to have that because OBJ is out the door. And conceivably, he is number 2 as it stands now. So where do we stand? Where do we stand on that? Does he need to go down to South Florida, get the extra reps, put in the work with Lamar Jackson so that it can show on a consistent level, hopefully, in the regular season? Songstress for real, good evening to you. And Brandon Bazel, is it Owe? No, the question mark is not Owe. The question mark is Rashad Bateman. There's no question. Owe, he has to have a monster season. He has to. And I'm sticking by that. And when we come back, middle of the season, when we do this live stream, I'm going to call out some people by names because I'm keeping receipts, okay? I'm going to call some people out by names. Where are you? Anyone home? Brandon Bazel, you remember what you were saying during the offseason and now Owe has double-digit sacks? Okay, not double-digit, but you get where I'm going with this, right? Lady Laura Baltimore, she said, yes, I'm preaching because she loves Roquan's attitude. I do too. He's all business. That's what I love about Roquan. When Roquan speaks, he's just, some people really have a commanding presence. And when they speak, you want to hear what they have to say. You just feel like you're going to be enriched some way based on what you hear from them. That's how I feel about Roquan. And Brandon says, Bateman's, he's emotional. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Bateman's personal life, and I won't speak to that. But whatever it is, we need to be able to separate it. We need to be able to, at least for the time of the football game and in practice, we expect him to be able to put it aside and focus on the game. That's why we always hear his head's not in the game, not just Bateman. I'm just saying about players in general. So that's just something that we need. Lady Laura Baltimore said Bateman needs to run the Florida. I agree with you. I do. That type of inconsistency from wide receiver number 2, because when you think about wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1 is going to get their fair share of targets. You know that. Hence the reason they're number 1. But number 2 is not far off. Number 2 wide receiver is a crucial part of the offensive system. We expect when we turn on a television, and doesn't matter what team we're watching, we expect at least two primary targets for that quarterback. At least 2 of those are wide receivers. And we need to be able to feel comfortable, or that we have everything we need in wide receiver 2. When we need to rest wide receiver 1, we know 2 is right there. And in order for him to be there and show up, you got to put the reps in. You got to have the practice. Danity, welcome in. Thank you for joining. He should have been there. He should have been the first one on the plane. I thought I was preaching good tonight. Danity, you can take the stage. You are preaching good tonight. Yes, he should have been the first one. He should. And I appreciate that Zay Flowers, and I know Zay Flowers went to Florida and has gone to Florida during the offseason to practice with Lamar. And I know some people are going to say, and if you're watching this on replay, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on Bateman. But I know some people will say, well, the people who went down to Florida are from Florida. Nelson Aguilar, Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers. That's Homestead for them. So why does Lamar have to have people come to his home? Why can't he go to another, somewhere mutual? Well, I mean, I can't answer that. But if the absolute ultimate goal for us is to hoist that Lombardi in February, then by any means necessary, get on a plane, head down to Florida, practice, put in the reps with your quarterback. Quadri's son is going too. That's good to know. And that's very good to know. I didn't know that. So thank you for letting me know. And B. James also says that I think you should go down to South Florida. And I think that's who LJ was talking about in his presser. I don't know if there's some issues with Lamar and Bateman, but whatever it is, I agree with you, B. James. I think he was alluding to that in his presser last week. But whatever wrinkles are there, we need to do what we need to do to iron them out, because September the 5th is right around the corner. I mean, I know we say, okay, we're just in the month of June. It's like 3 months away. It'll be here before you know it. We're going to blink a few times and we're going to be in the middle of July. We're going to blink a couple more times and we're going to be right in the throes of training camp. And then once training camp hits, it's literally full steam ahead into the preseason and then right there into the regular season. So we don't have time to waste. At this point, at this late stage, we don't have time to waste. And thank you, B. James, for weighing in. I'm glad Q's son is going. Lamar and Mark have a natural connection, but you can tell Lamar and Zay and Aguilar, they practice and it shows. That's right. And when that connection is not there, you have to be creative to figure out how to get it there. Okay? You have to get that connection there. And she says, Lady Laura Baltimore said, me too. I'm keeping receipts. I think she's saying that in relation to keeping receipts. Okay. This was not on the agenda, but we're going to take 2.5 and hear Brandon. Brandon Bozell says, and if he doesn't get double-digit sacks again, I clarified. I said, no, just kidding. Mid-season, he's not going to have double digits. And before I can speak to double digits, and if Jay, the 6, if you are watching this on replay, please weigh in. We have to carve out a proviso in the event, there's an unfortunate or unseen, I don't like to say injury, but you get where I'm going with this. So the point I'm making, I'm not going to hold Odafe Owe to a certain number. Would I like to see double digits? Yes. Do we need to see that? Yeah. But would I be okay if he got 8 sacks for the year? I would. I'd like 10, but I think I'd be okay. I think I would with 8. B. James says, yeah, I think that's on the offensive coordinator to make sure Bateman is a serious part of this offense. But, I'm going to ask this, B. James, I agree. I think it is a part of the offensive coordinator's responsibility. But what happens if you are an offensive, and I ask this for everyone, not just for B. James, but if you are an offensive coordinator and your intention is to see Lamar Jackson and Rashad Bateman out there doing it, like just being able to connect. They are a great match. They have a wonderful chemistry. That's your plan. What if you're an offensive coordinator and you don't see that? Then what do you do? We got to figure it out because time keeps going by. When we first started the off season, it was, Bateman's not going to South Florida, but we still have time. We have a long time. It's just, it's just April. It's just May. We have plenty of time. Now we're in the middle toward the end of June. How much more time do we have? We see that there is a problem. What's our plan to solve that problem? Unless we are thinking, oh, well, maybe we move Bateman down the depth chart and he's not number 2, but then who is? That brings me to a 2.5, not on the agenda, but I have to do it. I have to. Did you all hear that Brandon Ayuk came out and said that the 49ers said they don't want me back? I immediately said, Ravens, I know we have a limited salary cap. I know that. 5-6 million at this point. It's not a whole lot to work with. And no, Brandon Ayuk is not taking $5 million. It's just not happening. But I just got really excited. I said, the possibilities here. This is what I want my offensive coordinator to do. I want you to march into John Harbaugh's office and say, listen, if what we see is not panning out between Bateman and Lamar, that's not to say we don't just, get rid of Bateman. No, absolutely not. But if we need to bring in some reinforcements, let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation. Thank you, Eye of Horus Taurus. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. And he said, nah, Lamar called him wide receiver 1 and everyone swears he's going to be good. I mean, I don't know if he's wide receiver 1. And yes, Lamar has said, I don't know about the last presser, but I know in previous pressers, Lamar has spoken very highly of Bateman. And he does believe in Bateman. And I'm going to trust that Lamar knows because he's the quarterback. He's in the best position to know whether we have, what we need in Bateman or not. He's going to be the one who I'm going to listen to because, I see what I see on the screen, but he's out there physically with him. But, we'll see. But I literally, going back to Brandon Ayuk, I got very excited. I got really happy. Ooh, I got happy. I just said the possibilities. Tanja, good evening. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're well. But my thing is, as the offensive coordinator, sure, you can't mandate that. You can't make someone go down to South Florida, but I would be strongly encouraging that just because we need to ensure that there's that chemistry. Because we can't expect Zay Flowers to do it all. He's great. And I hope and I'm believing Zay Flowers is going to take a big step. He had a great first season, rookie season, excellent rookie season. Now going into his sophomore year, I'm expecting him to continue on that same trajectory. I am. But I don't think it's fair for us to put it all on him. And Nelson is there. He is. And we saw some flashes of greatness from Nelson last season. There were catches that Nelson made that were just really, really good. But Nelson's not a wide receiver number 2. He's not a wide receiver number 2. Lady Laura Baltimore said, yeah, she saw that about Brandon Ayuk, and we can dream, right? We certainly can. We can we can get our hopes up, but I just don't want to have our hopes dashed because I don't know that we're bringing in anyone else. I don't, at least at wide receiver position. I think the Baltimore Ravens have made it crystal clear, whether we like it or not, that they are set at wide receiver. They believe in the guys who they have, and that's what they're going with. Now it's just a matter of figuring out how to make it work. With the core of wide receivers that we have, how do we make it work? And if we can answer that, if we can figure that out, I'm okay. I'm okay. Good evening. We have Nisha C. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you're doing well. Just a couple more things before we get out of here. One last thing, one final topic. Just wanted to share with you a few channel updates. So, a couple of things of what you can expect on the channel. On this channel, I try to live stream every Monday night at 7:30. As you all know, we're moving into the boring part of the next 4 to 5 weeks when it might not be a whole lot going on. I'm happy to come here and chat with you, and we can talk about the nothing moves and the nothing signings that are happening around these Baltimore Ravens. But I do have an upcoming series, and I mentioned it last live stream, where I'm going to start, because I've had a lot of people, well, not a lot, but I've had some people ask, like, hey, I'm new to football and I want to learn, and I don't know and where to start. So I'm starting a series of Football 101, where we just break down the very basics, just teaching people each position of football. And that's coming out, that's starting this week. So you'll still see me, even though I might not be live streaming every Monday. If there's news, you can bet and believe that I will be here. But if there's not, you'll probably see a video come out on the Mondays when I'm not live streaming. But I just wanted you all to know. I didn't want you to think that, oh gosh, she just left us. But no, I'll still be here. B. James said, if the Ravens bring in another receiver, they need to trade Bateman, but I think that's a bad idea. Why? Why do you think trading Bateman is a bad idea? I saw someone mention, it was maybe in one of the comments on someone's channel, or maybe it was on, I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw a comment that said, trade Bateman and bring in Courtland Sutton. Trade Bateman for Courtland. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but if we're trading, if we're making a trade, I want Brandon Ayuk. And I'm sticking to that. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. No. No. But like Lady Laura Baltimore, oh, you can dream. You can hope. You can hope. And Sir Hendo, more live streams? No, not for right now. But you can do the live streams, and I'm happy to join you on your channel. That sounds like a novel idea. Thank you so much for suggesting that. So what day shall we expect the next live stream on the Rogue Pod? Now that you've put that out there? Oh, and you were saying you're going to do a 2-hour stream on the Rogue Pod? That's great. Thank you. We're all looking forward to that. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. Lil Joker, how are you doing? Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining. I hope you're doing fine. Good to see you. Glad you're here. But I'm just a couple. One other thing. And then I promise we're going to get out of here, because I said the game starts at 8:30 and it's already after 8. See, I just get on here and just start talking. You guys are the best. We have good dialogue over here. We have great conversation. Oh, wait, before I do, I see another comment. Eye of Horus Taurus says that would be a horrible trade. Why is that? Why would that be a bad trade? Why? Either trade for Courtland Sutton, and that's trade Bateman for Courtland Sutton, or trade Bateman for Brandon Ayuk. Why would either of those be a bad idea? I'm wondering. Ravori Sports Podcast, welcome in. Thank you for being here. And this person's, I'm not sure if it's male or female, so I'm not going to say he, but Ravori Sports Podcast says, are y'all confident with Bateman? We've just been talking about that. That's a great question. Great question. Are we confident? And I like the word. So as most of you know, I'm a lawyer. So, I look at every single word and I'm dissecting every word. He didn't say, are you sure? Are you thinking about it? He said, are you confident? All right. That one word, confident, has me stumped. And I'm going to go with right now. If I had to give my answer today, right now, no, I'm not confident with Bateman. And as a fan, that scares me. It does. It does, because I can't say that I'm confident in my number 2 wide receiver. Because I know the saying, defense wins championships, but you have to be able to score points, right? You have to be able to score points. And if you can't do that, well, we already know what happened at the AFC Championship. I'm not going to bring that back up. Oh, no, sir. Mr. Hendo from the Rogue Pod says he's out of the live streaming game. No, sir, you have to make the return of the live streaming. Too many people want to hear your perspective. They want to hear from you. And we are looking forward to that 2-hour live stream that you just promised us. So thank you for that. Eye of Horus Taurus, Courtland is not good. Okay, I'll ask you this. He might not be good, but one thing I know about playmakers, ballers can ball. Playmakers make plays. They might not be what they were years ago, but when their number is called, if they are a playmaker, they're going to make the play. And if we compare Rashad Bateman, who I really had high hopes for, and I still want to have those high hopes for him. And I've said it here before, I am not a Bateman hater. Absolutely not. No. I just want to see him demonstrate what he can do. That's all I'm asking. That's what I want to see. And B. James said, To me, Nelson is better than OBJ, but if you wanted to learn how to do the Park Heights jump, OBJ is your man. Oh gosh, there it is. See, BJ, thank you so much for the comical value. That's so cool. I appreciate that. I needed that laugh. And B. James also says that he thinks, bringing in another receiver is a bad idea. I think it would be a bad idea only if it was anybody else other than Brandon Ayuk. If we brought in Brandon Ayuk, to me, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Oh, yes, please, if you are here, thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me and everybody else. Please hit the like button. If you are new, welcome. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on your post notifications and listen to Hendo bumping my gums again. Oh boy, I'm not bumping my gums. I'm just reading out what you've promised the people. And listen, Nisha C even weighed in on it. The people have spoken. And as a content creator who is out here just revolutionizing the game, you've got to give the people what they want, Hendo. That's what she asked for. She said your live streams are fire. So we expect to see that 2-hour stream very soon. Eye of Horus Taurus, I agree about playmakers, but let me ask you why nobody is making any moves for him, especially Broncos. I don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. I can't speak to that. How many moves have been made that we didn't know about? I can think of one, Hollywood Brown. If somebody asked you the night of the draft, are the Ravens trading Hollywood Brown? I bet the answer would have been like, no, they are not trading. No way would they trade away Lamar Jackson's #1 target. So I can't speak to that, Eye of Horus Taurus. I don't know what they're doing. And most likely, we won't find out until the move is made. I just don't want another team to get him. That is a real contender for us. Speaking of, now see, we're going way over what I said I was going to do. I'm gonna put myself on a time limit. It's 8:07. I have 5 minutes. I'm gonna wrap this show up in 5 minutes. But I have one other topic right here that I wanted to share with you. Looking at our schedule, right? Looking at our schedule for the regular season, how many games, as we look through the games here, which one has you concerned? We talked about some of the weaknesses or challenges that we're facing right now being, the wide receiver position. I didn't even talk about the fallers. We didn't even get there because we had so much fun talking about Rashad Bateman tonight. I didn't talk about my fallers. I'll name them real quickly for you. But my fallers are Marlon Humphrey. There was an article in the same one that I showed you earlier that said, Coach Harbaugh was asked about Marlon Humphrey, and Marlon Humphrey said, he said about Marlon, he's just recovering from some nagging things. Well, what exactly does that mean? What are nagging injuries? What are nagging things? Is it serious? Is it for real? Is it something for us to be concerned about? Nagging injuries. Okay. Again, lawyer here, going to dissect that statement. Nagging injuries. That means there's something there that you're not telling me. Because if it were, you would just come out with it. You would just say, oh, he's still dealing with a little bit of swelling in his arm, his shoulder, whatever. You would tell me. But now he's just dealing with some nagging injury. So he's a faller in my list. Another faller is David Ojabo. What are we doing at edge? I know we have my guy, Odafe Owe, and he's certainly going to contribute this year. We've already discussed that. But who's going to help him? We have Kyle Van Noy. We sure do. But we lost Jadeveon Clowney. And Ojabo, according to John Harbaugh, he is supposed to be or should be ready at some point. Those were the words. He should be ready at some point in training camp. None of those words strung together equal a definitive. He might be, kind of, sort of, could be, will be ready. What? I'm sorry, what? Is he going to be ready or is he not? So I'm not banking on Ojabo. He's a faller for me. The last one, another faller is Adisa Isaac. We drafted him knowing he had an injury history. But that's, I guess, what the Ravens do sometimes. So I don't know that he can necessarily be a stock down because as a rookie, do you really even have stock yet? So maybe not. Maybe not. Another duo that I'm adding to the fallers is Ben Cleveland and Daniel Falele. We've heard nothing but not so great things about both of them this training camp, during mini camp and even at OTAs. That's concerning. What about this makeshift O-line? I've always had concerns about the O-line. And I hear from people, give it time. It's going to, just wait. Let's be patient. We still have a ways to go during the off season. Let's just wait. Okay, those are my fallers. Now, with that in mind, I'm looking at this regular season and I'm looking at all the games we play and what team scares you. Just leave it in the chat real quick. If you're watching on replay, is there a game that kind of concerns you? For me, I look at not only the opponent that we face, but I also look at the circumstances of when we play them. Who do we play? Where do we play? How many games was it before how many games is it after the last game? All of that stuff matters. So for, obviously the Chiefs, right? Of course, certainly for obvious reasons, but I'm keeping a watchful eye on the Bengals. If Joe Burrow is healthy, and I said, if Joe Burrow is healthy, and that's a big if, he's still, from what I'm hearing, because Yolanda is going to be out there in these real and digital streets listening to what people have to say about our team and defending us at every turn. But I'm hearing that, Joe Burrow himself is still dealing with that wrist injury. So if he's a full participant and he's ready to go, look at when we play them. We play them October 6th. That's a team that concerns me. And moreover, the other one that concerns me is the Eagles. The Eagles just added Saquon Barkley into their backfield. And Jalen Hurts, excellent quarterback. Excellent quarterback. So that's another one that I'm thinking about. That's what I'm looking for. Now, I've been saying all along, we're winning against the Cowboys. And I'm going to stick true to that. Like, I'm not changing my position there. But seriously, I really think, honestly, we need to have answers at O-line, wide receiver, edge rusher. We need that. And Eye of Horus, Taurus, I understand. Give Ojabo time. We've given him now going into 3 years. At some point, there has to be a return on investment. That is a true principle that I live by. And we invested what round did we take Ojabo? He would have been a first round pick, but for his injury. Did we take him second round or third? I don't recall. Somebody in the chat, let me know. What round was Ojabo? And I really think that we haven't seen that return on investment from Ojabo. I want to give him some time. I do. But I also want to see there being some type of display of what he can do. Those Penn State pass rushes, stop it, because in that sentence or in that statement, embedded in between those words was a slight to Oweh. I see it. I know it. That's it. Lady Laura Baltimore says, I can see you in courtrooms right now. Yeah. Is he could have? I sure do. I do that. It's bad. Yeah, I would. That's it. Absolutely, Nisha C. Might possibly could be. That's what it is. John Harbaugh made the statement, right, that, the player, he might possibly could be able to come back during training camp. He should be a go. What does that mean? Anyway, we also have Turbo Duran. How are you? Chiefs, Raiders, Cowgirls, Bills, Bengals, Eagles, and the Browns. Some of those maybe, but I disagree with you on some. And yes, my name is Yolanda, and I do go by that name. So, and thank you, Danity. She's not going to, please watch how you address me. That's right. Woman is not appropriate. I like the name Yolanda, but thank you, Rogue Pod. Second round. So we picked Ojabo up second round, which I think he was supposed to be like that first round, but for his injury. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you, Songstress, for real. Second round. I'm telling you, I really listen. Okay, Lil Joker. And I just want to say shout out to Lil Joker. He's not even a Ravens fan, but he comes and he supports the channel. I appreciate you. He likes the other color, the other purple team. He's a Vikings fan, and they signed Justin Jefferson. I'm still a little mad about that because I wanted him to in the beginning of the offseason. But I appreciate you, Lil Joker, for coming by. And if you are not a Ravens fan and you happen to be in here, you're welcome here. Listen, we just come around. This is just a safe space where we talk our love for the Baltimore Ravens. We vent our frustrations when they do things that we don't like. And, we have a good time. So Lil Joker says, Chiefs, Eagles. I'm from the outside looking in, but the Ravens are looking good. I think so, too. Thank you for that, Lil Joker. And I saw earlier where you subscribe to the Rogue Pod. I appreciate the support you give the Ravens community. We're trying to get you to be the Ravens as your second team. We know you love your Vikings and we would not try to take you away, but I probably would just because I want you to be over here with us. But I appreciate you for coming by. That's right, Brandon Bazel. That's it. So Turbo Duran, you can call me YOLO for short. I guess Brandon is allowing you to call me that. Oh, told you I couldn't talk for 5 minutes. See what y'all did? Oh, y'all got me off. See, I told you, you guys got me off topic and off track. I was supposed to talk for 5 minutes, and then here I am running my big mouth. Anyway, guys, gals, ladies, gentlemen, that is it for tonight. And I didn't even get through everything I wanted to, but that's okay. Just know that you're still going to see me around. I might not live stream every week, but you'll have content coming out from this channel. Keep an eye. If there's anything newsworthy, you can best believe I will be right back here to chop it up with you. Yes, did I say it right? Hendo from the Rogue Pod and Brandon Bazel. Did I use it right? I'm improving. That's right. I'm improving my slang terminology. I'm broadening and, becoming better at and more proficient in slang use. That is all for tonight. Thank you so much for being here. This was a lot of fun. Please make sure that your post notifications are turned on. I'm excited for the new series. And when I release the videos, even though most of you who watch the channel, you ladies, you gentlemen are so well versed in football, you could teach the class. But this is a basic series 101 where we just where I just kind of share knowledge. And if there's anything that I left out, then comment down below in the videos as they're released as we go through each position that make up the NFL teams. We start with the offense. First video comes out this week, and it will be the quarterback position. I had to throw Lamar Jackson up in there, so just wait. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay. Ladies, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I always enjoy hanging out with you. Thank you for spending some time with me tonight. Go enjoy the rest of your evening. Get ready to see if these Boston Celtics are able to put this thing away. I don't know if they are, but we'll see. We'll see. Aw, Lil Joker, we might be his JV squad. Yes, we love that. Thank you. Thank you. Living Legend, I didn't say hello to you earlier. Thank you for joining Living Legend. Yes, slang editorial. I'm working on it. I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to surprise you all. One day I'm just going to come here and I'm going to have a full arsenal of slang terms. You're going to say, what? That's right. That's right. I am improving. Thank you. Yes, I am, Hendo. That's what you meant. You mistyped it. Yes, she is. He misspelled a couple of words there, but we got where you're going with it. Everyone, take care. Until next time, you make sure you stay safe, take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you all back here very soon. Make sure to hit the like button. It helps the channel out a ton. Thank you all. Take care. God bless. And don't ever, ever forget, even when the button doesn't want to work, go Ravens. I'll see you soon.